7 Central African time. If you've just joined us, this is Rise and Shine on Channel Africa. South Africa is in mourning following the untimely passing of Nathi Mthethwa, the country's ambassador to France and a long-serving senior member of the African National Congress Party. Mthethwa's career spanned decades, including roles as police minister, arts and culture minister, and now as ambassador to Paris. Known for his influence in South African politics as well as moments of controversy, he was a figure who left a lasting imprint on the nation's governance and international relations. We speak today with a former minister in the presidency of South Africa, also former minister of energy back in 2018, Jeff Radebe, who worked closely with Mthethwa to reflect on his life, his career, and the legacy he leaves behind. Minister Radebe, thank you for joining us.
Thank you this morning.
We won't call it a good morning. It's a morning for a lot of South Africans and even the entire continent and the international community at large. But let's start by you sharing with us your memories of His Excellency Ambassador Mthethwa in terms of your personal and professional memories and the kind of colleague and friend he was.
Well, firstly, I want to express my deepest condolences and those of the ANC in KwaZulu-Natal on this tragic occurrence of the passing away of Ambassador Nathi Mthethwa. I knew him way back in the early 90s when I was the chairperson of the ANC in Southern Natal, and he was the secretary of the ANC Youth League. He was a very militant young man who played a very key role in the struggle for freedom and justice in South Africa. Later, when he became the Minister of Police, I was at Justice. We worked very closely together, as well as when he was the Minister of Sports and Culture, I myself at Presidency. We worked together, particularly when we brought back the mortal remains of one of our stalwarts and heroes of the South African liberation struggle, J.B. Marks, as well as Moses Kotane. It is indeed a very tragic moment.
But what do you remember about him as a colleague and a friend?
Well, I remember very well, as I've just said, even though he was born in the deep rural areas of KwaZulu-Natal, where the dominant party was Inkatha Freedom Party, but he joined the ANC in order to fight for the struggle of the people of this country. His militancy, as well as his love for political education, was very visible. I recall in year 2000, at our first National General Council that took place in Port Elizabeth, he was one of those comrades who were in the forefront of political discussions, and he loved particularly the topic of strategy and tactics of the ANC.
Despite his political career, Mthethwa, because we don't have a lot of time, we can't even go deep into that, but I'm sure as the days go, we'll delve into his legacy and who he was. But His Excellency Mthethwa had only been in Paris for a relatively short time. He formed close ties since his diplomatic appointment in 2023 with the Ministry of Europe and Foreign Affairs and the French presidency. How should they remember and uphold his legacy from these relations and the impact he had in France in strengthening ties?
Within a short period of time, when he had been appointed as our ambassador in Paris, in France, he played a very pivotal role in fostering relations between France and South Africa, particularly business and trade relations. You will recall that recently he was the one who was very pivotal in the organization of a very important visit by the Deputy President of South Africa, together with a large business delegation, to meet France in order to ensure that these economic relations with such a very significant and strategic country, France, are intensified in this way.
South Africa's President Cyril Ramaphosa said Mthethwa served the country in diverse capacities during his lifetime, which ended prematurely and traumatically. In closing, what would you like South Africans and the international community to remember most about His Excellency Ambassador Mthethwa?
Well, we will remember him as a man who was prepared to lay down his life for the freedom that we are enjoying today in South Africa. And he was one of those who built South Africa from root and branch, brick by brick, to make it what it is. And also on the diplomatic front, as I just highlighted, he represented our country with distinction.
Minister Radebe, thank you so much for your time. And yes, of course, our
Thank you.
condolences go out to the family, Mthethwa family, as well as the African National Congress and the leadership of South Africa. Former Minister in the Presidency, Jeff Radebe, speaking to us about the late former Minister, who was His Excellency Ambassador to France from South Africa, France Nathi Mthethwa, his reflections on his life, his career, and enjoying the legacy of ambassadorship. We'll continue, of course, to reflect on this. So many to touch on this life of His Excellency Ambassador Mthethwa.
Mix Vibration sur